Welcome back to the Messy Cook. In my last video, I told you I'm going to show you how to process to make your own pickled peppers. So I'm going to do pickled jalapenos, and I'm going to do some pickled banana peppers, or Hungarian hops, as what I call them. I'm only doing probably a jar of each because I only have a few, but I wanted to show you how simple this can be. Anybody can do this. This is a basic pickling brine. These will be water bath, just so they're shelf stable. So I'm just probably going to end up with one jar of each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do about equal amounts of vinegar and equal amounts of water. So I'm doing 1.5 cups of white vinegar, just white distilled. That has to be at least 5%. So be sure when you buy it, you're checking that, because a lot of the manufacturers are making 4%, which is not what you want. If you want this to be shelf stable, it needs to be 5%. And I've got 1.5 cups of water, so that's all we need there. We're going to add in some coarse salt, so I'm going to put in a tablespoon of coarse salt. There's my tablespoon over here. There. 1 even tablespoon of coarse salt. So I would do a couple teaspoons if you're doing just a cup of each. Just depends on how much you're making. Sugar, I like to add a little bit of sugar in. It doesn't really give a sweetness, but it's just what I've always done. So I'm going to put in same thing, equal amount of white sugar, and I'm going to throw in some peppercorns. Take it out of my spice cupboard, but I'm just going to take these. So probably you want 8 or 10 per jar. So I'm just putting a small, like a teaspoon maybe, of black peppercorns in there. I'm going to put this on the fire, and we're going to bring this to a boil, and we want all that sugar and salt dissolved. So that's literally basic pickling brine. So equal amounts of sugar and vinegar, equal amounts of vinegar and water. We're then going to add in half a teaspoon of black peppercorns, or a teaspoon depending on the size of the batch you're making. So I would say half a teaspoon probably for every cup of liquid. That's probably your best bet. Now I have a few jars here. I should probably use gloves, but I'm not going to bother because I just want to get these done here. Just cutting the lids off, or the lids, I should say, the stems off. I've done a few already because I was going to use those for my other salsa recipe, which you'll see if you want to check that out. It's called homemade salsa, and just check that one out. So these have the seeds in them. When I'm making these for pickling, I like to leave the seeds in for the heat, because this is, we're usually putting them on nachos. We're putting them on pizza for the most part. If you don't like the seeds, you can try to scoop them out. You'll get some, you won't get all of them, so that's a bit tough to be able to do that. So we're going to continue these. Like I said, I think I'm going to end up with 1 jar of the jalapenos and 1 jar of the other ones. I'll get those to the point and show you next what we do. Okay, so there's the pickling brine, and I've got the peppercorns and water, vinegar, little salt, little sugar, everything's in there. So that should be enough to do these two. This is just basic. Like I said, you can use this for pickling pretty much anything. And I might actually, if I have enough broth left, or I may add some to it, I might do a jar of pickled carrots, so carrot sticks. So let me show that to you. Now this is coming to a boil. I'm going to let this boil for about 2 or 3 minutes just to be sure everything is dissolved. I'm just going to turn it down a tiny bit, and I'm going to chop up some carrots. What I've got here, first of all, oops, you will see, there we go. I have 1 jar of jalapeno jalapeno peppers I've just sliced up. I'm going to throw in all of these banana peppers. Now it's going to overfill a bit, but I'm going to stuff these down a little bit. The reason why is because once you get the water in there, it kind of floats up a bit. So there we go. So we got these both stuffed down a little bit. I'm also going to grab some carrots, or maybe 1 or 2 carrots, and I'm going to do a jar of those as well, because hey, why not? I'll show you how versatile this brine is. You can also use this brine for quick dill pickles for the refrigerator. I'm going to turn that off now, and you can slice some cucumbers up, you can throw some dill in a jar, some garlic, and top it with the same brine, and you can get yourself some more pickles. So let me grab a carrot out. All right, so I've got some carrots here. I'm going to just chop those in strips. I'm not going to do them too big. I also don't want to do them too small because do them too small, they won't fit in your jar. I like to lay them down, I like so, and you can do, so lay them in the jar. I only have 3 carrots in my fridge, but this is just an example of things that you can do. You can do carrots, you can do sliced cucumbers, you can make them dill, you can make them just simple plain, you can spice them up. You can do this with things like little onions or celery if you like. You can do green beans are a really good one, like a dilled green bean or a spicy dill. They're really good for Caesars, for drinks. This is not a lot, but guess what? That's going to be just enough there. So what we want to do with this is, you know what? I'm going to want a little kick in there, so I'm going to throw in a couple of jalapeno slices. If you don't want to use jalapeno, you can use red pepper flakes. That will work as well. So I've got my brine here, and what I'm going to do is we want to top this off to each jar to 1/4 inch. So we're just going to fill that up to there. You'll see a few peppercorns have gone in. You can also, I'll do it this way so you can see a little bit better. And again, for this one, right to 1/4 inch. Now the carrots I might need to add a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to have to make a little bit more, but that's okay. That's plenty. I'm going to add in a few of these peppercorns here because we want a little bit of that in each of them. A few in there and one more there because I did see a few go in. So let me add some more brine. This will only take a couple of minutes, and we'll get to putting them in the jar. Okay, well that sugar, salt, vinegar, and water mixture, which you can hear on the side here, is heating up. To finish off, what I'm gonna, I have the water boiling because these do need to be water bathed. Now you can do these as what you call a fridge pickle or a fridge pepper. And if you do that, you just cover them with this, you let them cool to room temperature, put them in the fridge, and they'll be good in about a week. You can eat them in a couple of days, but they won't be to the consistency or the pickleness that you want. The zinginess maybe is the best word for it. What I'm doing now, this is calcium chloride. This is food grade calcium chloride. And this is technically known as pickle crisp. So this is the cheaper way to get it. So you basically are going to put 1/8 of a teaspoon in every pint, which is a 2-cup jar, or if you're doing a big jar, you're going to put in 1/4 of a teaspoon. So I'm going to do about 1/8 in each jar, which is literally like just a couple sprinkles on the top. What this does is this is going to help keep those veggies crisp. So you can use this on pickles, vegetables, any fruit that you want to keep a little crispier, just to make sure that everything stays nice. I'm going to wipe the rims. I'm just finishing off. That liquid is boiling now for the carrots. So I'm going to add that. There we go. That's nice and boiling, and everything is, yep, everything's dissolved. So I'm going to pull this back up. I'm going to put this, pour this in, try to make hot. So there we go. We just want to make sure that's topped off there. So let me put a tiny bit more in each of these, and that will help with the pickle crisp as well, just to dissolve it, because we want that dissolved too. So you don't want to go more than 1/4 inch higher on the head space, so at least 1/4 inch. So basically, those are ready. I think I wiped them all. Let's make sure I know I did the first one. Again, I have 3 lids here. I'm going to pop these 3 lids on. Again, I'm using the 4 Jars brand, which I so far am really liking, and I can find a link to try to put in the description. Again, finger tight on each of these. Now the reason for the wiping the rims, and like I said, I do it with vinegar, or if you use a hot water cloth is probably good too. You do not want to have anything, even if you think it's clean, it's like, oh, it doesn't look like there's anything there. You absolutely do not want to have not wipe those, because what will happen is if even there's a tiny particle, and even if it seals, you can end up with botulism. Sometimes you can't taste that, you don't see it, it doesn't smell funny, the colors don't change. So I've just got these quick pickles here. I'm going to take this off. We're going to show you what we have. So there you go. There, and I put a couple little jalapeno slices in there, so those will give a bit of kick. So I'm going to take these right now. We're going to come over to the stove. I have the water boiling here, and I'm going to add these 3 jars. Let's see here, to my water, and 1 more. This is hot to hot. Remember what I said in my last video: hot liquid, hot jars, hot water. So we've got that. That's boiling already. There's a few bubbles coming out, which is fine because that's going to happen. That's a little bit of airspace in there, headspace I should say. So we're going to put the timer on, and I'm going to put it on for 15 minutes. Well, actually I'll do 10 minutes because I think usually it's 10 minutes for peppers. So I'm going to let that boil and let that go for 10 minutes, and we'll take those out when we're done. Alright, so these have gone for, I think I put them on, I did end up putting them on for 15 minutes because they thought it was boiling and it wasn't, it was more of the bubbles. So we're all done here. So these are again called water bath because of the vinegar. Normally carrots have to be pressure canned if you're doing just carrots and water and salt. But because we added vinegar, it makes it a high acid. Here is the, so you see here, carrots, the jalapeno peppers, and these are the hot, we'll say banana pepper or Hungarian hot as you call them. So these are the 3 we did. So again, if you want to make any sort of pickled, whether peppers, vegetables, quick pickle, you can just use 1 cup. There's my salsa behind there that I did as well. So basically what you use is, for every cup of vinegar, every cup of water, you're going to add 1 cup of water, 1 cup of vinegar, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt or like rock salt. You're going to add in 2 teaspoons of sugar. If you don't want the sugar, you don't have to add it, but I added just because it gives it just gives a nice flavor. 5 or 6 peppercorns, and I think that's it. So you're going to bring that liquid to a boil, boil it for 2 or 3 minutes, make sure all the salt and sugar is dissolved, and then you're just going to pour it over your tight packed veggies. So I'll do these pickles throughout the season pickled peppers I should say, throughout the season as my peppers come in my garden. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If there's something you'd like to see, let me know. I will also be doing some, hopefully, tomato sauce later in the season. I'm going to do some peaches, so I'm going to get that on video as well and show you how to can your own peaches to last throughout the year. They're absolutely delicious, and peach season is coming up. So don't forget to subscribe to my page, hit that little bell, share if you like, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy canning season, happy summer, and enjoy the last few weeks. Take care and see you again soon.